So I hear you want to learn a language? I got you. What's up, you guys? It is Sean Rabbitt, and I am back with another video. So recently I made a video that shared my favorite 5 tips for learning a language. It got a huge response and everyone wanted the English version, so here I am. So today, check out these 5 tips for learning a language. Okay guys, so tip number 1. Make sure that the very first thing you do is pick a language you want to learn. Now, some people need to learn a language because of work, but most people choose to learn a language. So when choosing the language, you want to make sure that you have a reason for learning the language. That's going to give you momentum and inspiration to really try hard to immerse yourself and pick up the language. So for me, I like Japan. I love the culture, I love the food, the people are just amazing, and it's somewhere that I could totally see myself living, if not visiting often, which I already do. But that being said, I didn't always speak Japanese. I've been speaking Japanese for 10 years now, and when I started it in college, I wanted to learn Japanese because I wanted to either one day live there or work there. So I had reason for wanting to learn, and that was the start of my motivation to carry me through learning the language. So that is tip number 1. Now it's time for tip number 2. Pick 3 words and implement those into your daily life. So for example, when I was learning Japanese, I would pick 3 words, let's say refrigerator, hungry, and apple. So I would say something like, I am onaka suita, and I want to go to the reizoko to see if we have a ringo, which means I want to go to the refrigerator because I'm hungry to see if we have apples. As I got better at Japanese, then I would start implementing new words every single day into a Japanese sentence. For example, 私はお腹空いただから冷蔵庫の中リンゴあるかな? そういう感じ. So, just like that, I would start to implement all those new words. So that is my biggest tip to really increasing the size of your vocabulary, because I know a lot of people that speak different languages and they feel very limited by their vocabulary, whether it's knowing items or technical terms or descriptions of things. So one of the best ways, I cannot promise you enough, I promise you, this will help. Okay, tip number 3. Tip number 3, use social media to help you learn the language. Social media is a really great way to increase the vocabulary as well as the listening and comprehending portion of the language. I use it to learn how to read better, and I also use it to listen. So I'll watch, for example, YouTubers in Japanese, or I'll watch Instagram stories of people who are in Japan and speaking in Japanese. It's a great way for me to listen and try to comprehend what they're saying, and also when I read their posts, those are in Japanese too. So it's a really great way for me to be able to learn the language. Try it out. Tip number 4. Tip number 4 might be seen as controversial in the language learning world, but for me, I feel that this is much more important, and that is learning to understand the language better than you can speak the language. What does he mean by that? Well, say you speak Spanish and you go to Mexico and you ask, ¿Dónde está el baño? Where is the bathroom? And then the person tells you, go straight, make a left, and then make a right, and go down the alley and make another right. But you don't understand one thing they just said. Well, did knowing how to ask where the bathroom really help you? I think not. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I would prefer to actually understand what I'm hearing and piece together what I want to say versus know exactly what I want to say and not understand the answer given to me. So, number 4, like I said, learn to understand the language better. So to do that, watch a lot of videos, YouTube, and again, use social media. Make friends that speak that language and try to practice your understanding and comprehension with them. I will say in Japanese class, I was not the best test taker, but when it came to listening, comprehending, and then replying with an answer, I got that one locked down. That was tip number 4. All right, guys, so far so good. I have one more tip for you, and that is tip number 5. Tip number 5 is a really great lesson to learn in life. Yes, that is, don't be scared to make mistakes. Learning a language is just like learning anything else, and it's gonna come with making mistakes, and from making mistakes, you will get better. So many people that I know when they're trying to learn a language are way too scared to make a mistake. And I feel like that's creating a prison for learning. You're not gonna get beyond the limits. Push yourself, try new words, try new ideas, and if you make a mistake, it's totally okay. I have a really funny and quick story about that. So the first time I ever taught in Japan, I've never taught skating in Japan before, and I get there and there's a group of skaters. So I was teaching, and the word for slow is osoi, but the word for skinny is hosoi with an H. And so I kept telling this one girl, we're working on edge patterns, and I kept saying to slow down, or at least I thought I was saying that. And the whole week I was saying, get skinny, get skinny, get skinny, get skinny, get skinny. And I wanted to say, slow down. So I kept saying, hosoi, 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 hosoi. And then after the week was done and I went back to Tokyo and I was hanging out with one of my friends, I was a little late, and he goes, oi, osoi, hey, you're late, or slow. And I was like, no. Yeah, that was embarrassing. So the next time I went there, I made sure to use the correct word, which was osoi. But that being said, as embarrassing as that was, I learned from my mistake. And learning from that mistake, 1, I learned the correct word, and 2, I will never forget it. So there you have it, guys. Those were my 5 tips for learning a language. I can tell you learning Japanese has changed my life, and it is one of the best decisions I've ever made. It's just as hard as learning to skate in a different way, but I'm so grateful that I had the discipline and the patience to learn the language. It has opened so many doors for me, and I can only encourage all of you guys to pick a language and learn it. Make sure if you liked this video, click the like button below, leave me a comment, I always reply, and make sure that you guys subscribe. I love hearing you guys' feedback, so please contact me, leave a message, and subscribe, 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 subscribe. Bye.